Hello and welcome to official Xbox 360 Magazine's OXM Report, and this week we're talking to Epic Games' Cliff Bliszinski and Tanya Jessn about Bulletstorm, which may not be the mindless shooter you think it is.
When we were building Bulletstorm with People Can Fly, we found that when gamers play a first-person shooter, they see enemies and they're like, oh, I have to deal with these guys and take cover and pop up and pop them and kill them as quickly and as efficiently as possible so I can move to the next area. And the way that Bulletstorm ultimately wound up being designed is it's a game where you really want to take your time. You see a bunch of enemies and you're like, ooh, this is a farm that I can harvest for points. And then once I keep this guy alive as long as possible before I finally kick him off the ledge and play with him like a cat playing with a dying mouse, then I can really get those awesome skill points and then leverage that the next time I have a chance to purchase new weapons, new power-ups, and new goodies in the skill shops, right?
If you see a screenshot or you see a movie, it is not at all the whole story in any way, shape, or form, because it's very sandboxy. You can come into every single combat situation and play it 50 different ways if you like. And not only that, but you're going to get different amounts of skill points, you're going to have different types of encounters. And so someone who doesn't want to do that stuff should still have a great time, but someone who does want to be a little bit more creative and like think outside the box is going to definitely be able to min-max, you know what I mean? Like figure out the best ways to go about encountering a situation just like they might in a role-playing game or something.
Well, the beauty of the skill shot system that we have is that it's actually relatively easy to add in new skill shots. So I will do some new creative thing, Tanya will, Adrian, everybody PCF does, and all of a sudden, suddenly you're like, oh wait, this could be a new skill shot, let's do that. It's like, today we had it so if you shoot somebody in the butt with the cannonball from the cannon launcher, like it doesn't do anything, it just says, you know, rear entry or something like that. It's like, we can do something better, like butt ball or some crazy things like that. And we just have this like Excel spreadsheet that they keep expanding on. It's relatively easy to hook those in, relatively inexpensive, and it's something that I think is going to extend the tail of the game and have gamers playing it for a while. So we have a new mode that we've unveiled called Echo Mode, and what it does is it takes snippets from the campaign and allows you to play through them with a certain weapon selection to see who can get the highest score, which is then very obviously and very clearly marked against your friends on a leaderboard. You can then pop over, of course, to the global leaderboard and have this great element where you're competing for a high score in these sections. You can get a time bonus at the end of it as well, and it allows for a great amount of picking the game up and kind of reminiscing and echoing about the previous sections of the campaign without having to worry about, you know, where you were in the story at that point.
Echo Mode for us was kind of well, everything in Bulletstorm was really kind of born out of iteration. Figure out what is the most fun thing and keep doing that thing, and like encourage people to keep doing that thing. And so Echo Mode was exactly this, where we saw people really wanted to know like how many skill points they were getting when they were beating certain sections of the game. And so we put in a little, basically a ticker to track those skill points. And then we were like, well, we really need leaderboards so that people can compete with their on their friends list and like globally for their points. And then it just became, because it became so popular internally, we decided that we should just turn this into a standalone mode.
And the great thing about Echo Mode is on the main menu, the game will notify you if your buddies have beaten your score. So therefore, you will be well aware, like, oh, yeah, I got it. You're up next. Bring it.
So with our multiplayer, with Anarchy Mode in particular, we knew that Bulletstorm by itself is a very kind of unique experience, especially because it's all about empowering the player. It's all, you know, it's all about doing cool stuff so you can do more cool stuff and get lots of points and be creative. And this is a little bit, you know, it's a little bit counter to the traditional multiplayer model. So we knew that we explored those paths, but we also knew that we had to do something kind of totally different.
So whenever you're building a shooter, you always go through your kind of checklist, you know, as far as versus multiplayer, co-op modes, a horde mode and things like that. What do you want to actually do with the game? And we tried playing around with the versus mode in this game, and it's something that maybe somewhere down the line could work, but looking at the amount of work that was required in regards to how fun it could potentially be, we thought that it made more sense to do the Anarchy mode ultimately, where you have 4 players teaming up and trying to get more and more points in order to get past a score gating system in order to get to the next level.
When you spawn in with your friends, you have to work together to get team skill shots, to get regular skill shots. If you do regular skill shots too much, you don't get nearly as many points as you do as a team. So by working together, you get bonuses, and there's these little team challenges that pop up every once in a while that by getting them, you get even more score bonus for. So as you progress through Anarchy, The bar gets raised higher and higher and higher, so you have to work together even more as you progress. And also, the cost of the weapons goes higher and higher as well. So you have to keep, you have to work for yourself, get your own skill points, but you have to work as a team to pass the score gate. And once you've passed the score gate, you get experience points that apply directly to your gamer tag. So you can unlock boots and skins for your guns, as well as like for your body and helmets and stuff to help identify you from your friends.
I think we're at the point where games take themselves too seriously, right? There was a tweet that Jeff Gertzman posted last E3 where he's like, "Dear gaming industry, would you please make up your mind? Does war never change, or has war evolved?" Right? And it's like, depending on which trailer for which war game you're watching, it's kind of like, okay, I get it. Okay, this is war. And even Gears is very serious in certain ways, with exceptions for Coltrane and things like that. Bulletstorm is just fun, right? When you look at the physics of knocking the characters around, of blowing enemies in half and impaling them on spikes, it's very fun, very enjoyable. Harkens back to a little bit of a kind of a Mortal Kombat type era, and the fiction doesn't take itself too seriously. There's a lot of serious elements in there in regards to life or death struggle with these characters trying to get off this planet. But within itself, you have a main character who drinks a little bit too much, and it's a little bit tongue-in-cheek. I like to say that when you see Bulletstorm, there's 3 phases. You first see the screenshots, and you're like, okay, that looks pretty cool. And then you see a video and you're like, wait, what is going on here? You have my interest. And then you play it and you finally get it. That's one of those things we want players to get hands-on with it, play the game when it comes out, and then tell your friends about it, because I think people are going to find it some of the best tangible fun, hands down, from the feeling of shooting down the barrel to having a charged shot in the shoe and getting ready to blow somebody away with that, to just the sheer velocity of the explosions. It's just good, dirty fun.
For all the exclusive details on Bulletstorm, plus a preview of all the amazing games coming out for Xbox 360 in 2011, pick up the latest copy of OXM on shop shelves now.